thank you so much for joining me. I'm really interested in hearing about open bank because there's obviously this issue, especially for SMEs, that they're really being left out by the big banks. But how are you helping ultimately solve for this challenge?
Right, so SME business banking has always been broken for the SMEs. This has been a global problem where banks don't really understand the needs of a small entrepreneur. And in the global scene, we've seen fintechs working very closely with banks, almost riding on the bank's license to offer SME business banking solutions to the smaller SMEs. So Open is a neobank in India that does the same. We solve the entire business finance problems for the SME, so everything from raising an invoice to reconciling payments, accepting payments online, to keeping a track of their expenses, to running payroll. We solve all the entire spectrum of problems for the SME business owner.
So talk to me about this rise in digital banking. It's a relatively new concept, so tell me a little bit about why now is the appropriate time to launch a business like this.
So in India, we've primarily seen the rise of payment gateways, and everyone was solving the problem of online acceptance. No one was really solving the problem of reconciliation. There were accounting platforms that were made only for the accountants or the finance professionals to understand. Whereas a small business owner might not necessarily know all the jargons, or when income comes in, when money comes in, do you want to put it in a debit entry, or do you want to make a credit entry, how does that work? So these are things that no one knew, and there was always a heavy dependency on finance professionals for doing that. And for minor things like knowing how many invoices I need to pay, people just tend to keep track over Excel sheets or diary notes. Globally, a lot of fintechs have solved these problems working with the banks as a banking layer. So there's been Tide and Wholeve, who are some of the prominent SME-focused new banks in the global scenario. When we started looking at solving the problem of a small business entrepreneur, we realized that there's no one doing it in India so far. And when we look in the global scene, we saw these fintechs, the new banks, and the challenger banks that were coming up and solving these problems. To get a payment bank license in India, it's a very tough challenge. Not meant for a small startup to start doing it, and hence we chose the neobanking route to solve these problems.
So talk to me a little bit then about the market traction you've seen within India.
So in less than 4 months of launch, we've had over 30,000 SMEs using our platform, which is phenomenal growth. From our investors, we know that we are slowly becoming the fastest growing SME neobank in the global scene. In terms of transaction processing volumes, we process over $2 billion in transactions on our platform. So, and all of this has been achieved in the past 4 to 5 months.
Wow. Well, in just 4 to 5 months, that's very impressive. So what makes Open Bank different than other companies within your space?
So most others have solved one part of the problem, be it the accounting problem or just the invoicing problem. No one has seen it in the end-to-end business owner's vision. We are a platform that is made by the entrepreneur for the entrepreneur, not for the finance professional, even though it is the finance person who would be using it on a day-to-day basis. Everything about Open is something that a business owner would be able to understand and would be able to do it himself. So that's the level of understanding that's the kind of experience we're trying to build with the product. And because it's a business owner who is able to understand everything from one single platform, hence it makes more sticky for him to use it.
So what's next then for Open Bank?
So next we'll see Open going into the global markets. We have found good traction in the Indian market. We continue to grow here, but we definitely want to go into the APAC region. We want to go into the Middle East. We want to go into Europe, and there's sizable enough space available for another player to get into these markets and solve the problems SMEs face, because not many have, apart from counting up, not many have really done the entire end-to-end reconciliation and fully automated accounting, but that's something that we have been able to crack in the Indian scene, and we see good traction coming up in the global markets for this.
Well, looking forward to Open Bank's continued success. Mabel, thank you so much for your insights.
Thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You as well. From MEDICI Studio, I'm Shannon ROSIC.